Once I enter that stage the first time, it is like a moving train. We're in the show and it doesn't stop. My name is Ardolino. I'm starring as Marcia Murphy in A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical. And I'm a Broadway performer for a living. This is what cramming a show in your brain looks like. You've got like missing pages, you've got notes written everywhere. It's just all my little Post-its of things that I want to remember. This is all like the back work, the character work that I was like writing down to give beats to every point in the song. In my brain was like the timeline of their relationship, so I was just like, there's so many scribbles and cross-outs and a million things that, and things change and evolve also as you're like doing a show, which is beautiful as well. Sometimes the things you go in with are not the things that stick and stay. I started working around 16 years old, and I've been doing it ever since. Because I'm gonna be singing all day and all night, I just wanna give myself a chance to warm up slowly and carefully so that I don't injure myself within the show. To be able to sustain yourself in these shows, you have to take care of yourself right. So I do vocal warm-ups in the shower. My neighbors love me. I also physically warm up. I try to get in about 15 to 20 minutes of cardio, whether that's doing exercises in my house, yoga, anything that just kind of wakes the body up so that I'm setting myself up for success singing-wise and dancing-wise. Nice and loose so that I can come to the theater and I don't have to spend as much time warming up at the theater. One of the crazy parts they don't tell you about this job is that, one, you're always gonna have hairspray in your hair. Your hair is always gonna be pin curled. It's gonna be curly and crazy. The hair routine, good luck. Another thing is the makeup. Because we are wearing so much makeup, they give you makeup for some of these shows. I've started using my own makeup because the breakouts, the damage that your skin goes through, putting this much makeup on your face all the time, it's a lot. The work doesn't just start when I enter the building for the day. There really never is downtime. I'm still regularly in voice lessons. I'm taking dance classes. I'm doing every bit of training on the outside so that I can still make sure that I'm able to keep growing and being the best version of the performer I can be. So it never really stops, and the hustle is beyond. The journey to this career, it's unpredictable. It's up and down. I mean, some people book Broadway at 17 years old, fresh out of high school, and they just go straight to Broadway. I needed to cook a little bit longer. I needed to bake a little bit. I needed to experience traveling, and I actually really appreciated that, and it kind of made it more exciting when I did just get to finally go do Broadway, is because I had been working and hustling so long and traveling to do shows, but everybody's journey is different. I toured from like 18 to 23 years old. I spent a lot of my life on the road, hit every city in the US. When I was 23, I joined Hamilton Chicago, the original company of Hamilton Chicago. I ended up getting that job, so I opened the Chicago company. And then after a year of doing that show, I decided to switch over to being a swing, and I wanted to be a universal swing in particular because I knew that that was my chance to go to travel to the Broadway company so that I could have my Broadway debut. Throughout my career, I've switched to a lot of different shows, playing different roles and ensemble members. Being in the ensemble of any show is a feat. It is difficult. It's hands down one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. You never leave the stage. You are quick changing. You are part of the show, the experience, the environment. Being in the ensemble is super challenging, but I feel like I've really built stamina with that. Now stepping into a leading role, it's a different type of stamina you're building, and it's a different type of way that you have to take care of yourself. As performers, our body is our job. Like, how we take care of ourselves is huge. I'm steaming vocally to make sure that I'm okay to be able to sing in these theaters that are a little dusty. They're a little old, these Broadway theaters. I'm going to bed and making sure I'm getting my 8 hours every night so that I can come in for a 2-show day. I can wake up early, warm up my body, make sure that my joints, my muscles, everything is good to go so that I feel strong when I walk out on the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. The time is 1:13, which means we are almost at lift call, almost at our Cherry lift call for today. The stage is available. Please come on down. Lift call will begin promptly at 1:15.
Because Marcia does a cute little lift in Cherry, the stage managers want to make sure that everything goes according to plan. So we go through a lift call before the show even starts, just to make sure that we are ready when the show actually happens.
5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 2.
Good job. As Marcia Murphy, this role really requires a lot of you. You are dancing, singing, and acting. You're not only just the scene work, there's so much to play off of and really dive into. Also, playing a person that really existed in the real world. You know, this is not just a character that is fictional that you can make up and play around with. This is a person that existed in real time that you are embodying this role. So making sure the scenes, the beats, the acting really comes through authentically. The Actors Equity weekly minimum for actors is $2,600.43. Now, that is your starting rate, although if you are a principal, you can always negotiate higher, and most do, given the amount of work that they are doing in the show. Also, within the ensemble, if you are moving set pieces, extraordinary risk causes, there's things that throughout the show, if you're touching things, moving things, it also bumps your pay. So it really varies by show. I do find women in the industry struggle with maybe not getting paid as much as men. I also find that it is sometimes harder. It is harder for a woman to say no to things than it is for a man. Men sometimes, and based off of experiences that I've had, usually don't settle for things, whereas I notice some women, and even myself capable of doing these things, go, okay, that's enough. Or, okay, you know what, I can accept that, I won't go higher than that, I don't want to push. And coming into this next year of my life, I have made a very strong vow that I will constantly be knowing my worth, pushing for what I want, and being able to say no to certain things. So yeah, I do think that there is a dynamic in that way, and it's time to shred that boundary of doing that and accepting that. Let's do a show. It's a sensible Thursday. Hey, let's. My favorite part of my job is it's just like theater camp. It's a grown-up theater camp. You show up every day, you're with your best friends, you're messing around backstage. I mean, it is like a grown-up sleepover. And then we leave the theater, and we can't wait to see each other like 7 hours from now. So the fact that I get to come to work, play dress up. I mean, my costumes in the show, I'm literally putting on some of the best dresses I'll ever wear. I get to sing songs, and at the end of the day, like, just being in this loving environment of theater kids. Have you ever grown up with theater kids? They're the coolest. I don't really enter until 20 minutes into the show for a beautiful noise, so I get to sit back here and just listen to my cast members and the energy and feel the audience before I even step on the stage, and then we're in the show. I'd say my advice for anyone that wants to be a Broadway performer for a living is it is really hard, but it is really rewarding. It requires a lot of you. It requires a lot of training. It requires you having a backbone. If it's something that you're passionate about and you want to do it, put everything that you have into doing it, because if you do get the chance to do it, it is truly quite an amazing career.
This is my favorite part of the theater. Here we go. It's me! This is how I knew I made it in New York City, when you get your face plastered on the side of a Broadway theater.